What's up, people? Dinner ran a little bit later, but it's actually fuel I need to stream anyway, so it's good. Hopefully you guys having a good one, and you're ready for the Raven and Lola Bunny showcase. We got the new 52 Raven thing with the last of our prestige stuff.
Us toons aren't really phased by stuff
which
like
is
this.
kind of crazy. The party is on. Yes, the party is on. Party is still going, sort of. Mostly. Nope. Aw, you get a little... Oh, you get some prestige stuff. Okay, alright. That's cool. Still get some prestige. Alright, I'm down for that. Okay. Cool. Weekly... Oh, weekly bonuses. Ah, I see. Weekly. Battle pass stuff. And what am I going to do with this 2,000 experience? It doesn't do anything. Oof, that's Scooby Snacks. That hurts, man. Scooby Snacks hurt. There's really no reason for us to go into the rifts right now because this is done. This is done. We already got the special character. I don't know what else you really need to worry about rewards-wise. There's nothing else here that's worth anything. You found one? Ah. Okay, little one. Okay, honey. Oops.
You gotta pick a character.
Alright, there's new Raven. New 52 Raven.
Wow, this'll be fun.
Well, actually, her costume's supposed to be different. Her leggings aren't supposed to be white. She's supposed to be, like, I think it's a black attire with a Raven-like appearance. And she's supposed to have, like, bare legs or something. It was a new 52 costume. I didn't like it because she looked weird. She looked like a... She actually looked like a character from Battle of the Planets, kind of. That anime. Gotchamon, or whatever it's called. Gotcha Force. Yeah.
It's not another
There she
battle
is.
already, is
Alright,
it?
so whoever wants to play, feel free to. I know there's not that many
Time
people
to
that...
play as Raven.
Oh, wow, that's pretty good, actually. Maybe people are itching to play after the PlayStation Network was down so long.
I've been itching to play all day because the PlayStation Network was down.
Lasted, yeah, quite a while it was down. Quite a while.
Play with my pretty princess.
Is there something I can help you with?
Oh yeah, that's
Teen
right.
Titans Tower.
Jaycat. 39 minutes. Raven.
No, I guess I will use your nub thingy.
It's a new cord that's upstairs.
I don't know why you have a new cord.
Because the other ones all got lost.
You should just use it for yourself. Oh.
I do. My cords are plugged into the game systems over there.
Well, you said your cord was getting weak.
Yeah. Hi, Linky. How's little buddy doing? Alright, guys, so we're going to need to push YouTube Shorts playlist. I'll get you the link for that.
I guess I'll get the cord so I can do that. Oh, Ambi needs to. I need to cook something. I never have time to cook because I get up, I do shorts, I get up, do what?
If you want to cook, just open up the window. Wow, Jaycat's ranked already? Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy, Jaycat. Most impressive.
Is your ear doing better?
I'm just ignoring it.
Oh my gosh. It's not good. I don't want you to ignore it.
Guess it's time to fight.
The likes and views increase. I mean, we'll probably hit 100 likes. The highest likes that this will go is like 120, 130.
I mean, it all depends. I mean, it depends on several factors. I can't. I'm meant to be here to help you. It's my job to help you. What
Hi,
time-
Dozenar. I'm not, because I'm putting together that Multiversus video. And then tomorrow we're recording more Street Fighter. Tomorrow at like
Let me show you mine.
not tomorrow. Well, yeah, it would be
Sunday
tomorrow.
morning?
Monday morning. Tonight is all dedicated just so we can get the Multiverse. Characters I wanted to see in Multiversus. Nope, it's already recorded.
And I wanted to see Mickey Mouse.
No, it's already recorded. I'm gonna be putting clips together. When I do videos, I record the audio first, and then I start putting it together in the music the next day.
I'm not taking that one sitting down.
So it takes 2 to 3 days to put together one like 15-minute video.
To learn some respect.
Wow.
Look out below.
Hi Dulcinora, hi you guys, hi Anthony, hi Stacy Polk, hi everyone. Hope you guys and girls are having a great day.
Aside from my ear thing, I got to catch up on anime I was watching, and I had a nice dinner. And afterwards, I'm going to do some dishes, and I'm going to work on a Multiversus video after Richard's stream. Richard's stream is going to be tough because I'm doing a monster tonight, or Champion Beast, or whatever it's called.
You might as well give up.
The Desert Monster. And what makes Richard's series so hard is I don't have a lot of assets.
Good job, Liz.
So like it's like playing Breath of the Wild on hard mode for me because I don't have access to better armors and
I'll come
weapons.
back from the dead.
So I have barely any arrows to even.
Can you grind off camera to get somewhere?
Nope, he doesn't like me grinding.
Oh wow.
Oh, it's a Richard Taylor series.
Richard Taylor series where
That one's sitting down.
you have to basically go with whatever you have and try your best.
Yep. He does, like, every once in a while, he'll let me do, like, one, like, 30-minute, like, me thing drop, and whatever I get, I get. But that's only if I don't have any material. The me people.
Hey, you won.
Meebos, yeah. Meebo drops.
Also me.
Awesome.
Could have
Wow,
done that
it sounds
while
like a pretty
meditating.
intense thing. I was thinking it was super chill, but in reality,
I mean, it is super chill.
it is chill, but also difficult.
Good job, Jaycat. Great job being Lola. Alright, let's go.
Lola Bunny.
Lola Bunny kicking tail.
And don't ever call me doll.
Alright, here we go. I will let you guys know that I do not have Ruby in the video. That's one character I forgot. I've covered pretty much every other base though, I think. But I did not do Ruby.
Ruby, Ruby, Roo.
Because Ruby is technically not a WB character.
Guess it's time to fight.
She would be a likely guest candidate because like she was owned by Warner Brothers at some point. But according to my list of things that I looked at last night when I recorded the audio, I had a list of WB-owned animated cartoons and comic books and stuff. Ruby didn't come on the list.
I'll be looking forward to your video. Even I don't know what character.
I picked some good.
I would have picked everyone from Injustice.
I was doing characters based on what I think would sell and save the game. Basically, how to save Multiversus. These were the characters that could save Multiversus. There's some good ones. Really good ones. Some are ones that people have requested, like Warner Brothers for years. Some of them are ones that people didn't even think of that would actually have appeal to people our age. Like the millennial people.
This was only my beginning.
keep sliding the date. Eventually,
It says on a video I was on. Anyone born before 1985 is Generation X.
yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. I went to a website and it said it's barely 1980. They keep sliding it.
People born in the 80s are not millennials.
You're gonna pay for that one.
Even people born in the 90s, I would consider millennials.
Good job, Luke.
They never.
Hey, you won.
In fact, when I was in school, they said Generation X, and then they had commercials for the new generation coming up, and they called
Generation Next.
it was Generation Next or Generation Z. And then the millennials were people that were born around the 2000s, or the people that were just starting to become kids or teenagers in the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I would
us.
say the millennials would be like
yeah.
people born in the year 2000.
That would be not us, since you and I were already like 20 in the year 2000.
Mm-hmm.
We were almost 20 years old, so you can't be a millennial if you're already a grown person in the 2000s.
Yeah, like I said, they keep changing the slider.
There is no millennials are the people born around 2000. Like there was a whole generation they forgot. There was Generation X. And then there was an entire generation of everyone born in the 90s, which was like Generation Z. And then there was millennials. Like, the 90s kids are not millennials whatsoever. Like, people born in the 90s are not millennials. Like, they forgot, I don't know why. What do they want to erase a generation of people?
Guess it's time
It's
to
not,
fight.
not what happened. I don't know who's making up these generations, but you can't have a generation that spans 80 years for one generation.
Yeah.
Like, what are you're doing everyone from the 1980s up until 2020 is millennials. It's like so stupid. Like, what? So
It's 30 years.
you can't have 30 years of one generation.
Yeah, it should be at the most
It's
20.
10 years per generation. It's so stupid.
No, it's supposed to be 20 to 50.
That doesn't even make any sense, because people of the 80s have nothing in common with people that were born in 2000s. People from the 80s don't even have stuff in common with people born in the late 90s. You can't do that. There's no similarity between those generations.
Uh-oh.
It should be every 10 years. You've got the 70s, you've got the 80s. 80s kids are a certain way.
It used to be 15. They've changed it to like 27. But it shouldn't be.
Who's changed it? Some kind of like, what are the aliens in the sky?
I don't know the organization that's responsible for it, but when I was a kid,
I don't feel like there is
Generation X when I was a kid was considered 1975 through 1990 was Generation X.
You're gonna pay for that
Yeah,
one.
well, that's fine with me. I don't care.
Right, it was supposed to be that. And then the next generation, the kids who were growing up after us, was supposed to be like 1990 until like 2005. But they never came up with a name, and then somehow we all ended up becoming millennials, even though we did see the new millennial. Like, we did see
When we were old.
When we were older, but we weren't born in it.
There were people that are from World War II that saw the millennial when they were like 90, or they
You did it.
Exactly.
So everyone who's seen the new millennial, even if they're 90 years old, is a millennial. So literally our grandparents are millennials then. It's just like the whole thing is messed up and stupid.
Yeah, it's the scaling. It used to make sense. It doesn't make sense. Wah! Raven. Raven.
When I was growing up, people said millennials were people that were still in like grade school and junior high when I was was way out of high school and had already graduated and everything like that. They were like, oh, the kids coming up today, they're called millennials. So how was I a millennial if I was already 20 years older than most people?
Yeah, they skipped a generation. Yeah. Exactly.
They put in like 4 generations into one category. But I swear, when I was in school, I remember they had this, they were like, Generation X, and they're like, you're Generation Z.
Well, I watched the, whatever organization it's called that changes that, because it used to go like 1975 to 1990, then it went 1975 to, then they went 1970 to 1980, 85. And then for Generation X. And then they went, no, actually, it's 1965 to 1980. And it's like...
No, Generation X is not 1960. The people from the 60s are the flower children.
Exactly.
They had their own generation.
They don't want to be associated with the hippies anymore.
Why would you group the 60s people into Generation X?
Yeah.
They're not even the same people. So the people that are hippies are the same people now that literally learned about computers. That's the same generation. Now you're grouping 2 generations. It should be every 10 years.
Yep, exactly.
It should be 1955 to 1970. I agree with 1985 because 1985 is the cutoff because after 85, everyone born after 85 did act differently than before. Like, everyone born before 1985 was a certain way, and then the world definitely changed in 1985. I would say right mid-80s, you could definitely see a change in people. So, I even noticed it with my own friends and family members and stuff. The world was definitely changing mid-80s. Mm-hmm. So if you were born in the early 80s, before 1985,
you gotta pick a character.
You remember certain things. If you were born after 1985 or the 90s, I would go 1985 to 1999 would be 80s and 90s kids, like 90s generation. 1985 to
gotta pick a character.
1999. You could even put it 1984 to 1999 if you really wanted to. That'd be everyone born in the late 80s and any time in the 90s.
Woo-hoo.
And then you would do anyone born from 2000 until 2012 was a millennial. That's what I would do. Because after 2012, that marked the next generation. Because 2012 was when everyone thought the world was going to end. And after 2012, the world changed dramatically. So I would say 2000 to 2012, with any time born between 2000 and 2012 is a millennial. Any time born between 1984 and 1999 would be a 90s kid. And that would be Generation Z.
Okay. So, we're playing with Dozenar now. And still rocking New 52 Raven. Remember, guys, to watch the shorts playlist if you haven't already. Yeah, there's a Morty short today. And then I'll probably have to take a little break at 11:30 to make a short to keep the views stable. Probably. Most likely I'll have to do that.
Well, I'm making my own
list. The other
list
Titans
of
will
it.
never believe
Let's
this
move on.
one.
We already
You want
talking
to
about this.
I know. I refuse to accept the list. It's stupid.
People should protest.
I am.
So, I've noticed that the Raven characters and just like the characters in general are all faster now, like Smash Bros. Like, they used to be very slow and floaty, and if they probably would have had the characters act like this, even at the beginning of the game coming back, more people probably would have played it, because it's more fun now.
Oh, yeah.
But also, you're going to run into a lot of Smash Bros that are just going to destroy you. They can chain together more combos before you And it's not like people can really complain about the game anymore because the game's dying.
What's
So
the matter?
it's not like they're gonna fix anything.
It's so
Nah.
weird. It's so weird that a free game could be dying since it's free. It's so odd. What's like the point of the free game? Like, free game.
I got hit by a dolphin, for crying out loud.
One more time.
One more time, says Batman. Oh my god.
I'm gonna make you regret that.
This is a huge stage, my god.
This one's for you.
On target.
Bird. Come on, Desnar, we can kill these guys at least once or twice.
Let's go, Desnar.
Holy crap.
Won't depose me that easily.
You're so easy.
Yo, what?
You did it, Red.
Just need to change tack.
Desnar, go after Jason if you can. Shoot. No.
You lost. Sorry.
Didn't need my
right,
piranhas
cool,
after
Anthony.
all.
Oh man. All right, moving on.
Sounds like those people are pretty brutal.
Yeah, well, I mean, we at least beat them twice. I mean, we at least got 2 lives. They didn't get it perfect. We almost beat a master rank player. Wow, that's cool, Jaycat. I didn't even know that. That's neat. All right, guys, your next like goal is 120.
Well, there's somebody who spent money on a Valentine's Day skin of, Black Adam.
Well, they had to, or they couldn't do the rift. You don't have a choice.
Oh.
You have to.
Wow.
You can't do the rift if you don't have a Valentine's skin.
Wow.
People are trying to unlock the last remaining skins because you can't do it with money anymore. So the only way to do it is you actually have to go through and get as many points accumulated as possible every day. And part of that is you have to use the Valentine's skin.
I have a question about this game. Could WB take all the work of the character models and stages that they made and make a Multiversus 2 and try again?
I don't think they'll try it again. Also,
they made all these stages.
like I said, I have a feeling that Smash Brothers is coming back, like on Switch 2. So any platformer game is going to be dead on arrival because no one will play it. Once Smash is back, and there are even people right now, you know that there's still thousands of players that still play Smash Brothers. Multiversus only has, on average right now, even before the announcement that the game was dead, about 500 active players. Do you know how many people are still playing Smash Brothers? Thousands. Thousands a week. And Nintendo still sells copies of Smash Brothers Ultimate like it's still 2018. So, I mean, most likely what's happening is there will be a new Smash Brothers game on the Switch 2. And once that happens, platform fighters like, let's say Multiversus still existed. Platform fighters like Multiversus, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, I don't even remember the name of that game. The Ubisoft game, most of those ones would all Brawlhalla, they'd all end up being obscure.
Yeah, people were trying to tell me that the other day. sorry. Didn't see the super chat from somebody that told me it was Brawlhalla.
Because the only reasons that these games even made any headway is because for the people that don't play Smash Brothers anymore and looking for a new game, Multiversus, Nickelodeon All-Star, and Brawlhalla all were able to do so well because, you know, there was that gap.
Yeah.
If Nintendo comes back and then they announce a new platform fighter, all these other platform fighters are dead.
Yeah, like...
Because everyone will play Smash Brothers because they know Smash Brothers is going to be good right out the gate.
Instead of Smash Killer, it's more like... It's like Bargain Bin Smash. Bargain Bin Smash Brothers.
Well, yeah, it's basically Bargain Smash. When the king comes back, because you have to go back and look at all the other Smash Brothers games that released. There were some that weren't amazing, like Smash Brothers Brawl. You know, especially after people were playing Melee, they really wanted something. And then the one that came after that, the Wii U and 3DS, and then Ultimate, there has never technically been a failure Smash Brothers game. Like, Nintendo always, you know, gets on base as soon as they release the game. Sometimes they hit a grand slam like Smash Brothers Ultimate, but for the most time, every time Smash Brothers releases, it always does well.
Yeah.
And they always have players. So the fact that this game, even before their announcement, like after their announcement, it went from 500 active players to like 275. So, I mean, basically WB killed their game because you still had about 500 active players like on this game. And now you have so much less because everybody knows what's the point? The game's, you know, toast.
Yeah, it's like if you have a party and you're like, in 10 minutes I'm gonna make everyone leave the party and have to go home. People are like, oh really? In 10 minutes? It's like, oh okay, well I guess I'm leaving now. Like, if you tell people it's gonna be over, then they'll just leave immediately.
Oh, sorry, Dozenar, I'm not really paying attention to how well I'm playing. I'm just hanging out with Amber. You appreciate the consistency? I mean, we don't want to be live. The reason why you see the channel live is because it's the only way that we get views and subscribers. We're shadow banned. So we have to live stream like 4 to 6 times a day. We don't want to.
Yeah, we would rather just upload a couple times a week.
We upload, and stop saying that. I would upload every day. You cannot be a successful YouTube channel if you upload once a week. It's not possible. You can't earn a living. You'd have to do at least like 2 uploads a day, especially for like a good income. But I would much rather post videos. But I posted a video today with Amber and I doing Street Fighter. It's still under 1,000 views. I think it's like it got 700 views, which is great. And tomorrow will be a topic video, so I'm hoping for over 1,000 views. That'd be nice, considering I've spent like almost 2 days on the video.
Get over here.
I really hope it does well. I haven't told people if it gets 5,000 views, then I'll do a costumes video for Multiversus. The costumes that I wanted to see, and costumes that would have helped save Multiversus. I'm leaning into the whole save Multiversus crowd to try to like use them as much as I can to be seen. So I'm using their hashtag like save Multiversus and stuff like that because I'm trying to get traction on content. Which most content creators do that. We see big, you know, new hashtags being developed, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna jump on that. I'm not a part of that organization or that movement, but like I would like Multiversus to get saved, so I guess I have that mentality. I'm gonna use it just like I did like other things.
Ready for the hurricane.
So I have a video that even I say, you know, would it be possible to save Multiversus? I'm using certain keywords in the video itself to try to help with like optimized search engine stuff, hopefully.
I have a for sure way people could have saved Multiversus. If WB paid everyone who played it $1 million to play their game. There you go.
Honey,
I would have
you realize that they owe billions of dollars, right? WB is billions of dollars in debt, still.
I feel bad.
No, I wouldn't feel bad. They're a corporation that made terrible mistakes. They could have easily printed money. A lot of this is their fault because they starved gamers for 10 years. You know, there's only been in the past 10 years, there's been 3 brand new Warner Brothers games that have come out in 10 years.
Yeah, and our channel's struggling, but it's not for lack of content since we make a lot of videos.
No, consistency's good.
I know, but I'm saying, like,
Geometry.
WB hasn't been very consistent with their stuff, but we have on our videos.
Thanks, Dozen R.
We keep pumping out videos. We're not like WB.
I never said we were.
I know, I'm just saying it out loud. Like, because some people are like, well, you guys have been, but no one can see you because you guys don't do any versus videos. It's like there's a list of over 300 versus videos.
Did I just kick a player? Oops.
I don't know.
I might have kicked a player. I don't know.
I was about to enter the astral plane.
The astral plane.
I really want to make some. I really want to make some food.
So open a window and go do something. But
I wish I could hang out with you tonight.
I won't be done working. You need to sleep. Like after Breath of the Wild, my entire night is dedicated to actually putting together that Multiversus video. That's about 18 minutes long.
I will feel bad for you doing Breath of the Wild on your own.
No, I'll be fine. I know what Breath of the Wild is. It's a temple tonight. So it's not like I'm free roaming looking for stuff. I actually have to do the camel temple.
I hope you had fun playing Twilight Princess.
That I couldn't remember what I was doing. I was gnawing off a little bit, and I couldn't remember quite what I was supposed to do. If it wasn't people in the chat like saying, "Need to go back to town and get the iron boots and stuff like that,"
Wow, do people actually remember that whole game?
Yeah, but also I think people look it up as well, which is fine.
Wow, that's impressive that people can remember it.
Multiverses should stay because it represents our inner child. Yeah, I mean it was a pretty easy thing that they could have done to be successful, but they botched it.
Yeah.
They done messed up.
I mean, I don't know how many years it was on, but I mean,
it really wasn't on that long if you think about it, because it lasted from my gosh, I don't even remember when the beta was. July of 2022. Actually, you know what? I'm looking this up.
oh, then it lasted for quite a while. 2000. Oh, that's like 3 years. I mean, that's pretty good.
No, because it also went on hiatus. 1 second, Amber.
Oh.
Multiversus playlist. Alright, the very first... I don't even know if this is in order, though. Is it in order? I don't think so. Well, the playlist was created... It doesn't tell me when the playlist was created. It used to.
Was that all your multiverses that you've ever done?
Uh-huh. Go back in time.
You could just do...
No, it messes up the order. I know what I'm doing. Yeah, see, it's got Christmas videos here. It's got everything weird. There's a Space Jam video that's members only. Multiversus Space Jam bugs. Space Jam bugs versus... This is all messed up. This is not in the correct order.
You can reorder it and do filter and then do oldest upload first.
I think Multiversus Batman is Dangerous was the first. No, that's not it. That's not the first video either.
Yes, a new member.
That's not it, because that only has 3,000 views. There's a bigger Multiversus video.
Hi, Charles Demers.
Weird. Yeah, that's all messed up.
Alright, thank you for the highlighted message. Thank you for being a member for 11 months. You're breathtaking, Charles. Says hi, Luke and Amber. Hope you guys are having a nice day.
You know what? I'm doing this a different way.
I hope you're having a nice
Hey, Charles
day too.
Demers. I just want to see something, guys. Because I have to go to the back end of the channel. This is not going to work the other way. Alright, Multiversus.
Yeah, you can actually type it, then click show all, and then go by date.
Okay, so we've done...
No, click date.
Done 243 Multiversus streams since the beginning. And we first started covering the game... my goodness. That's a lot of Multiversus stuff. There's July. We did a brunt of it starting in 2024 though. Did a lot. So the series. Okay, there it is. So we stopped covering the game November 27th of 2022, and then we started covering the game when it came back on November 28th, 2024. So we streamed it the final day before, and it was a members only video because something must have happened. There must have been probably something. Also only has 600 views, so it got wrecked. So November 27th, 2022 was our last day covering it from 2022, and our first day covering it was Shaggy's on it. So 15,000 views, May 19th, 2022. So the first run of the game lasted, the beta began in May, and then it came back the game fully released by July, I think. Mid-July is when it officially came out. And it only lasted from July as an open beta, or whatever they called it, I don't remember. July until November 28th, and then the game was gone. And then the game came back. So technically, it was on hiatus for quite a while. It was gone. It was gone for years. And then it came back May of 2024. So it hasn't even really had a full 2 years, if you think about it. Not really. 116. Charles D. Alright, Charles, let's go.
Well, I mean, Disney Infinity was a game that...
Disney Infinity lasted longer.
I know it lasted longer, but it should have lasted even longer than it did.
Yep. Well, that's because greedy corporations shut it down. They fired everybody, and that was it.
Because, I mean, I don't want to be like this person, but I think that Disney Infinity was better made game than this. I think Disney Infinity should have lasted a lot longer.
If Saban still owned Power Rangers would still be on TV today. Power Rangers would still be getting video games, and I think Battle for the Grid would still exist as new content.
Yeah, Battle for the Grid is a travesty as well. That was such a great game, and it was the first...
Guess it's time to fight.
First game like that was like...
It wasn't the first Power Rangers fighting game, it's the second.
It wasn't
Third.
The first, but it was the first really well done one.
The first Power Rangers fighting game involved Megazords on the Super Nintendo. That was actually a lot of fun. And then the second fighting game technically was Legacy Wars, and the third one was Battle for the Grid.
Yeah, but the Legacy Wars one was... I mean, it's kind of weird. You have to wait to mold the game. You have to wait for it to pop
It's
off.
still a fighting game because you have two people fighting against each other.
Yeah,
It's
done as well.
No, it's not like a traditional fighting game, no, but it is a fighting game. Because there are a lot of mobile games that are like that. That's why they made it. It wasn't a new idea. Legacy Wars was utilizing early mobile games, how they did fighting games. They just perfected it and made it better.
I mean, they became like Street Fighter.
I am unbreakable. I see my target.
Oops.
Charging.
Whoa! But yeah, if Saban still owned Power Rangers would still be on television, and they would still be making games, and they would still be doing whatever they could to get their name out. Hasbro is the one that basically, they're pulling a Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers had several things fail, and they canceled everything else. We just found out now that they were working on a Flash game, because Ezra Miller's Flash thing did so poorly that they pulled the plug on the Flash game when it was like 25% done. They killed it.
You did it.
Yeah, I mean, I really think, like, like how I was saying, like where I feel like you know, we're one of the reasons we're still around here, even though other YouTubers with more resources have left, is we just wanted it more. We just cared about it more. And it's the same with Saban. It's like, even though like people that bought it from him have more money, he cared about the franchise more.
Oh, dang it.
Like, I really think it has to do with passion and like if the person cares about it. That's why, like, you know, indie games or just independent games, when they're not bought by a big corporation, a lot of times they have, even though they don't have as much money, they have more of a potential to stay going than when the corporation buys them. Because when the corporation buys them, the corporation doesn't care. They're just one game among many that they're doing. Whereas when the indie studio is doing it, that's their only game. So they have to win. It's either be successful or die. Be successful or bust. This is the one game they have.
Alright, so I'm gonna have to...
Yeah, I'll try to help share the shorts. I'm gonna go get my phone so I can put that playlist in the thing. Oh gosh.
Yeah, I know, Rebel. I said if Hasbro never bought Power Rangers never would have died. I'm saying that even with low ratings, Saban would have still, like, been on network television, or he would have cut some deal with Netflix. Like, he also, like, the Power Rangers brand, in its last 2 years, they tried to do a lot of edgy things that they thought would gather them a big audience. And when they changed certain Rangers and they pushed certain things, like, the core audience of Power Rangers stopped watching. And then Power Rangers became very toxic because the group that they were trying to appease basically gatekept. And they made fun of, like, they would always say, well, Power Rangers was always about diversity, and they would attack other fans, and Power Rangers was basically in a civil war the past 2 or 3 years.
Even though Power Rangers never was finger waggy about anything, they just focused on the fighting and the, oh, hi, this is my name and I'm the Green Ranger. Hi, this is my name, I'm the Blue Ranger. Like, I never heard people talk about their personal lives so much. Like, it was not a thing.
It's just like, that's the problem. Like, when people who want to try to use an established, like, you know, family brand to push things, you're going to lose half your audience. You cannot maintain the ratings. The ratings for Cosmic Fury was some of the lowest in Power Rangers history, and that's going 30 years. So, I mean, they made a lot of poor choices that just ended up killing the brand. And then when it came time for Netflix to reevaluate whether or not they were going to continue working with them, they said no. And then Hasbro was like, well, we don't have a plan, so I guess that's it. Let's sell everything. It's over.
It's also, like, the way that these companies push these things. Like, instead of just pushing their new agenda or idea, and then people don't like it, then they're just like, oh, well, we tried it, I guess we'll try something else. That's not really how it is. It's like, oh, you don't like it? Now you're a horrible human being if you don't go along with the new agenda. So they're, like, trying to accuse the Power Rangers fans of being, like, terrible if they don't accept all the new stuff they're doing.
Yeah, I knew that Power Rangers was dead, though, when we stopped getting copyright claims for music. Because I had the Go-Go Power Rangers theme when I was doing one of the Legacy War streams, and usually that either gets my video blocked worldwide, or it, like, it gets it, like, completely, like, Content ID. And there's no problem. Like, I'm having no issues from Hasbro whatsoever. It's dead.
I feel like the modern way to push stuff in your shows or movies, like, they are taking a page from 2016 Ghostbusters, and everyone does it that way. They all use, they're the 2016 Ghostbusters people. They're like, we're gonna push, women in the, Ghostbusters, but we're not just gonna push women. We're not just going to make it about, oh, we're adding women. Oh no, it's only gonna be women. Okay, and in addition to that, we're gonna have the man be some kind of like ditzy blonde person and make him look like an idiot the way that we feel women were treated because we're trying to make some kind of statement, which is weird because the secretary in the original Ghostbusters wasn't treated like an object whatsoever, so she was very cute and like respectable person, so very strange. And then in addition to that, we're gonna go one step further. We're gonna be like, if you don't watch 2016 Ghostbusters, you're a horrible human being. And then we're gonna go one step further. We're gonna say that, you know, everyone better watch it, otherwise they're evil. And that's how they push everything nowadays. It's like, I'm gonna have an agenda, and then now, in addition to that, if people don't go along with it, then I'm just gonna say that they're evil, even though people might not want to go along with it for a number of reasons. I may have poorly executed my plan. I may have had an idea that was interesting, but I was not carrying it out well. I didn't. Maybe I had an interesting idea of pushing a certain thing, but I didn't. I did it in a toxic way, where I was yelling at fans. There's a lot of reasons why people wouldn't want to buy your product, but instead you just go right for the throat. And you're like, well, I think that you are, you know, you hate certain people.
Yeah, but the thing about Power Rangers that's really funny is they still can't figure out why the brand died. They killed the brand. Yeah. Like they attacked the fandom. They made choices that most people who watch Power Rangers that are kids and stuff, like they're just looking for colorful costumes and fun stories. And even when Saban was like, okay, this is the end, most of the people who grew up with Power Rangers are now teenagers, so we're doing Lost in Space, and that's going to be the end game, so we're going to do some darker themes. Like, they still wrote it well, and they made good stories, and they made it interesting. But the last, like, couple seasons of Power Rangers, it was just all about that Green Ranger's sexuality. Like, it really was. Like, a good portion of the show was about that character and how she's rebelling against the norm. And, you know, it attracted a certain group of people for sure, but those people didn't watch every single episode. They didn't buy the merchandise. And so families that were really big into Power Rangers and were okay with their kids watching, they stopped watching. And the ratings continued to decline, and they never... The problem I have with Power Rangers is they never looked inward. They were always like trying to find a way of blaming everybody but themselves for their failure and their bad mistakes. Because they have to basically be like, the Emperor has no clothes. Like, you can't tell the Emperor why he's, you know, not wearing clothes. Even though you know the reason, you're not allowed to state it because that's taboo. You know, you just have to go along with the fact that the Emperor has no clothes and just be okay with it.
Right,
because you have to keep the lie going. Yeah,
because if you try to point it out, people are like, I can't believe you said that, even though literally it's painfully obvious that that's the reason.
Yep, and Power Rangers is failing right now in comic books because they basically went and they focused on a lot of that, you know, stuff that's going on in DC Comics and stuff like that, and the sales for the Power Rangers Boom comics are lower than they've ever been. And they're at the point of cancellation, and they're just like, we don't understand why people aren't reading superheroes. They must not like superheroes anymore.
The thing is, like, if you would... Honestly, like, if you would change a character's sexuality in a show, and you just did it in a subtle way, like, oh, by the way, I changed my sexuality, and also, we're having pork sandwiches later, and also, you know, we're gonna fight this Megadeth person later. Like, if it was just one of the things that's happening in the show, then it wouldn't be a huge problem. But the fact that they push it so it's like, that's the only thing, and they're just pushing it so hard to the point where, and we've already, like, I mean, I hear people talking about this all the time, where instead of it being about, okay, we're fighting monsters and saving the world, now it's just about this one ranger and their personal journey towards something, with their emotional journey about finding themselves, when that's not what people want to see when they see Power Rangers. They just wanted to see people fighting monsters. It's just like how it's ruined with the Snow White thing, where her whole thing, instead of her being about the evil queen and her running away and it being an epic fairy tale, everything is about her personal journey, her finding herself, her telling the dwarves, no, I'm not sweeping, you are. Her standing up for herself. But that wasn't what the story of Snow White was supposed to be. It was supposed to be about the evil queen, the 7 dwarves. It was supposed to be a magical journey. Now you've literally taken the magical journey, and now it's all about Snow White and her personal problems. And that's honestly what went on with the Power Ranger person. Like,
Yeah, but Power Rangers...
just their personal struggle with
Right.
their life.
Power Rangers being on Tubi TV and some of those free networks, it doesn't really give a lot of revenue to Hasbro. Hasbro just kind of dumped the shows over there because they don't have a contract at Netflix anymore, really. I think Mighty Morphin is still on Netflix, and maybe the last season of Power Rangers. But, like, a lot of this could have been prevented. Like, they didn't have to liquidize everything. The problem is with activists is they don't have a plan of getting out of trouble. So when Power Rangers was literally, they were seeing cancellations left and right, and they probably know the reason, like, you know, why. And there's rumors that they were trying to push something even more extreme for the next season, which got them, you know, canned. But they can see all this stuff happening, and they can see people outraged, but the problem is they have to adhere to the 1%, and they can yell at, and they can make fun of, and, you know, kind of try to gatekeep the majority out. But the 1% they have to defend, and they have to do all this other stuff, even though sometimes it's the 1% that's causing the failure. They're not allowed to acknowledge it, because if they acknowledge it, then that's going to put a face to the problem and make the problem real. Even though the problem's very real and it's staring him in the face with, like, every low rated episode of the Cosmic Fury and even Dino Fury. Like, it literally, the Green Ranger was the reason, but they just continued to give her more screen time and to continue to push things, and it didn't give any ratings. It just continued to make the series plummet, and the only people that were talking about it was on Twitter. And, you know, they're applauding and they're praising, but these people don't buy merchandise, they don't buy the toys, they don't buy anything.
They're not actually consumers of the product.
They're not a consumer of the product, exactly. And so the consumers of the product with Power Rangers, like, I saw people on Twitter like, man, I grew up with this, but, you know, I can't really watch Power Rangers anymore, and I certainly can't, you know, have my kid to this. And then you'd have people show up, and they would be on this person that's not, they're just talking about Power Rangers on their own Twitter. They're not actually responding to somebody. They'd have all these weirdos come by and call him, like, a bigot, and, you know, they would say that his kid needs to have, like, CP and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they're just, you know,
that's the thing, is, like,
these are adults attacking other adults for just
accusations that people throw at people. It's just insane. Like, that's what it is. And, like, I even remember in my culinary class when we were researching, we were taking a course in supervision, and my teacher said, because he ran several restaurants in the area, he said, what's the biggest motivator of, you know, for employees? And most people said money, and he said that's not true. That's actually not the biggest motivator. Did you know that the biggest motivator psychologically for people is fear? Fear is the biggest motivator, which means people are actually more willing to do something because they're afraid of what people say about them than if they're losing money. It's actually, so they're actually willing to literally
Guess it's time to fight.
run their business into the ground because they're afraid of what somebody might say to them rather than actually do something that could make money. So, in reality, there's one explanation for why these companies are all running to the ground. It's that they don't have a backbone. They cannot just stand up for themselves and say, you know, like, well, we tried the thing with the Green Ranger, but it wasn't resonating with the audience, so we're going to try something else. And when people start screaming, like, you're a bigot, we hate you, you're evil, you just feel like, well, it's not making me money, so you can call me whatever you want.
I love their reasoning. They never brought up the Green Ranger. They never did a PR thing like that. They continue to basically be like, we don't understand why the franchise ended, and they're like, well, it's probably because of superhero fatigue. People have had Power Rangers for 30 years, and they're ready for something new. It's like, that's not it.
That's what they said with Brie Larson. That's exactly what they said with Brie Larson. I remember that's what they said when Marvel wasn't selling and Brie was the cause of it. They were like, well, people just don't like superhero movies anymore.
Right.
And it was like, really? Because, and then I thought what happened was right near there, they did come out with a superhero movie that people really liked.
Yep.
I don't remember what it was, but I remember she was definitely proven wrong because that was incorrect.
Right, because, I mean, people don't like it when you don't like a certain character or you don't like a certain choice that they made. Like, Doctor Who is dying. And they're like, we don't understand. They do know why Doctor Who is failing. It's because they changed so many things about who Doctor Who is. And they're blaming the fan base for not watching, for one. I was on social media a little while ago, and they brought back David Tennant for a while, and people were really happy. Yeah. And then the replacement came in, and people can't stand the replacement because he doesn't act anything like the previous Doctors, and he's made some really controversial choices about like the Doctor's like romance options. And people basically who have been watching the show since the get-go are all dropping it. And there's like a few people that are still watching it, but like at the same time, then the executives, they do these interviews and they're like, well, I think it's time for Doctor Who to end. We don't understand what happened. We just, maybe people just don't like the skin color of the new Doctor. And it's like, but you've completely changed the Doctor, who he was, what he represent, what his romance options are. And it's like the original fan base of the series, they're done with it. And it's like, instead of admitting, hey, you know what, we're going to go back to what worked, they're like, well, it's time to fold and we're done. That's the end of Doctor Who. We're done with it. The ratings are down.
Yeah,
we don't know what's wrong.
I don't even know.
Oh, it's like it's like a fire in LA. Like Doctor Who is going down big time.
Once they switched Doctor Who to a woman, it was over for me because like Doctor Who is a man. Like he's a doctor. He is Doctor Who. That's who he is. So once they switched Doctor Who to a woman, it was completely over for me.
Yeah. Well, like, that's where most of the fan base went too. Yeah.
Because it's not the same person. Like, and that's like, people are like, well, it doesn't change the character. It's like, yes, it does, because it's the same with James Bond. Like when they were trying to make 007 a woman,
Guess
like
it's time to fight.
It changing. Like, I don't really know what's happening with Doctor Who or anything, but I'm just saying, like, changing the ethnicity or race of Doctor Who would not be as drastic as changing him from a man to a woman for me. Because Doctor Who is a man. If he looks different, but he's still a man, then, like, that would not be as drastic as... changing him to a woman is not.
Yeah, that happened.
He's not Doctor Who.
That hurt the ratings, and then what they did is they brought back David Tennant for a while until the recent guy, and then basically the recent guy burned the franchise to the ground. Like it's just there's no recovery from it, and they're already talking about cancellation because like they can't admit that we made some choices that we shouldn't have, and for our next season we're going to go back to what worked. We're going to focus on this and do things like that. Just like Power Rangers, the reason why Power Rangers has always been around for 30 years, it's a show about good versus evil. But the recent season, like the final season, wasn't so much about good versus evil anymore. It was about choices. It's like some people make bad choices, some people make good choices, and they didn't really do the emphasis of what the show is about, which is good triumphing over evil, as well as teamwork and all this other stuff. They did everything else that you could think of, and they just and then they decided to make the one of the characters that people couldn't stand was the girlfriend of the Green Ranger, and they decided to make her a ranger on top of that, so she had even more screen time. So those two characters basically were the downfall of Power Rangers. Like there's no nice way of saying it. Like people didn't like. It just didn't work, but they can't admit it. So, like, what activists do when they have control of a brand, as soon as things start to go bad, they're like, well, it's time for this to end because we can't understand why people don't like this. When we got it, it worked, and for some reason, it's just people just don't want this anymore. And it's like, if you had somebody that understood the product and what Power Rangers meant to people and what people wanted from Power Rangers and what they wanted from the games and stuff, it would keep going because it did last for 30 years from people with different ideas and different ways of doing shows for Power Rangers. The difference is they kept a lot of the core aspects of the show the same. Yeah. And even though it was a different cast and they were in space or they were time traveling or whatever, The principal aspect of the show remained the same. The last seasons of Power Rangers, Cosmic Fury and Dino Fury, they changed the way the show was done. And that was the end.
To formula.
They went off formula, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, that's what people do when they're scientists or when they're trying to, like, you know, continue to, like, do scientific research. You go back to formula. It's like, you go back to the drawing board, as they say, for animators. Back to the drawing board. Like, you go back to the original plan. Like, what was the outline for this originally?
Well, look at Super Sentai, for example. Like, Super Sentai does have failures sometimes. What do? Do they continue to go down the route that led to the first failure? No, they go back to what worked. They look at a previous show. They're like, okay, people want dinosaurs again. We're going to do another dino-based show. Or people really want another time travel show, so let's do another time travel show. This gimmick didn't work, so people don't like this style of costumes. Let's change the costumes up. They don't continue to lament on what, you know, and try to force what they know that doesn't work, because they're there to make money. And that's why Super Sentai has been around for 50 years. Kamen Rider tried to appease the market, and Kamen Rider ended up getting canceled in the 80s because it just didn't work anymore.
I just don't even know who was trying to push, like when they try to push, like, certain agendas in Power Rangers and stuff. Who is, like, behind that? Like, is it the actual company Hasbro doing that? Or is that, like, some consultant agency they're working with that's pushing it?
I mean, you know how there were parent groups that were doing stuff to make sure that children's television in the 80s and 90s, like, focused on certain things, like, had moral lessons or had, like, good programming and stuff like that? You had a group of people that were in charge of, like, network television in America that were very far out there. And they expected, you know, certain things to be in the shows, or, you know, you wouldn't get funding, you wouldn't have all this other stuff. And those people are slowly, you know, being kicked out of the entertainment industry now. But they've been there slowly changing things for like 15 years.
So they could be responsible for a lot of companies losing money or dying. They could be even responsible for the death of Power Rangers, ultimately.
Well, they started on Nickelodeon, then they went to Netflix, they were on Cartoon Network. There's some of them that are still Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network has, like, kind of like split 50-50. There are people there that are smart, that understand successful rating things.
They're like Ra's al Ghul, this huge secret organization.
Oh no, it's not. It's not a secret. It's people that are in, like, television as executives and stuff like that. It's not like a secret organization, but they are trying to push certain things.
But they're, like, from the same cult, basically.
What kind of stopped that is there was stuff happening on a Disney cartoon. They were trying to push, like, some very extreme stuff, and they ended up cutting it out of the cartoon, and then that executive got fired because it was too much. And so now finally, as the saying goes, the buck stops here. So people are more aware of some of the stuff that's happening, and these shows aren't getting watched, and that's it.
It's funny because people always make these videos or these articles saying, like, Disney's trying to push this or this, like, evil agenda and stuff, and people are always like, no, they can't be pushing that. And then years later, like, that's exactly what they end up pushing, like this. That's exactly what it is. Like, usually whatever you think they're doing, and you think, like, no, that can't be it. They're not gonna go this far.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, while you have people that don't care about, like, sacrificing and burning stuff to the ground, there are people that, like, for instance, that new television station that just started that does classic cartoons. They're airing classic cartoons from the 80s, 90s, and the 70s. And they're not trying to implement anything other than they're just showing cartoons. So there are good television executives and there are bad television executives. And a lot of the bad ones are losing their jobs because they were trying to basically push things that's totally inappropriate, especially towards kids. And so, you know, miraculously, it stopped. But the damage has been done, and it's going to take years for, like, places like Disney XD and other places to get parents' trust again, because things were getting weird on TV that they didn't even realize. So Disney, not only did Disney Plus lose billions of dollars last year, but Disney's cable companies also, like, took a huge hit.
They showed that a lot of people have gotten rid of Disney Plus. Like, they've lost, like, what is it, like,
because
thousands of people have
they lost billions in revenue. Because, like, what they don't understand is that the church and other things for years, for like almost 50 years, has been okay with Disney. And, like, they were a huge, and I'm just talking like churches in general around the U.S. Like, when it came to family-friendly stuff, most churches would be like, Disney's okay. And now they're saying the opposite. So, like, you know, a lot of these people that are dumping Disney, they're religious people.
Yeah.
And you know, they're not going to the movies anymore. They're not buying the merchandise because they see Disney as, like, purely evil. And what's happening is Disney said, well, we don't need these religious people because, you know, we have audience. And it's like, no, you don't. You don't.
Your audience was families.
Their audience was families, exactly. And families said, yeet.
A lot of families are religious. I mean,
yep.
Even not just you know, Christians, but also there's
because Disney made
other people of other religions that are family based, and they don't want that kind of stuff pushed on their kids.
So Disney was known as a wholesome brand that was safe for families, and over the past, I would say, 5 years, Disney has almost completely destroyed their reputation. Their cable numbers are down, their Disney Plus numbers are down, their theme park is down. Like, it's almost like watching one of the biggest corporations in the world self-implode. And they still have no idea what's going on. Like, the executives have no idea.
To even think about pushing any kind of modern weird agenda on kids, even to begin with, no matter what it is, is kind of a messed up idea in and of itself. The fact that they just keep pushing more and more of their strange ideas on children, it's been going on for decades, and it's just gotten bad. Now it's gotten worse. But, you know, pushing anything on kids at all, like, you know, is weird anyway. Like, the whole thing of pushing agendas on kids is odd. Like, even, no offense, like, I don't, like, for instance, I can tell you something that I think was a weird agenda they pushed on kids years ago. And this wasn't...
Time. Guys, I gotta make a YouTube short. We're below 1,000. We're really below 1,000. So, there's gonna be a short up at 11:45. And yeah, there's also football stuff going on. But
I forgot about that. Yeah.
It's not the Super Bowl tonight, is it?
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I was just thinking...
No.
Okay, I won't talk about it because we're gonna pause.
Yeah, we gotta pause. We have no choice. Okay, so thank you, BlackDangerous, for playing. You did great. I'll be back playing with you guys in just a little bit. I have to make an emergency short because what's going to happen is it's going to go from 996 and it's going to go all the way down to 800 in like 5 minutes. So I got to make a short. We got to put fresh views into the channel. In the meantime, mods in the chat, if you guys could push the YouTube Shorts playlist, I need you guys to put as many views in as possible. This is crunch time. I didn't realize it was as bad as it was because Multiversus is still a pretty hot topic. But we'll be back. No choice, ladies and gentlemen. No choice. Alright, people, the Band-Aid is up. Oh, man, this is exhausting. It's also hard to come up with titles and stuff like that. So the short has almost 100 views, I think, already. The short's been up for a little while. It's still exhausting, though. Like, the fact that I have to do this every day, like, it's like you're constantly... Your boat is leaking, right? Like, your rowboat, and you can't get all the water out, but all you can do is just plug up the leaks and bail out the water, and eventually the boat is going to be half submerged by like 2 in the morning anyway. Like, once I have no energy left to live stream, the boat is going to go halfway under the water until Amber and I pull the boat out of the water again at like 7 or 8 in the morning. It's incredibly exhausting. Like, at this rate, with what YouTube is doing to us, like, physically, I think that Amber and I can only handle it for, like, probably another 5 years tops, because the last 2 years, we're doing more work than we ever have. Last year, according to 2024, we did, I think it was 2,850 videos, and they're counting shorts and live streams and uploads and stuff, but that's insane for one channel. The year before that, in 2023, 2023, we only did 1,400 videos for the year, and that's including shorts and live streams. So We doubled that just to try to maintain whatever income we have. And I can't triple that this year. If 2025 is any indication, like, I can't physically keep up with it because I'll probably die. Like, I'm not a young person anymore. I mean, I look young. That's because I'm a vampire. But internally, I'm not. Like, I'm aging more than I want to admit on the inside, not on the outside. Outside, I could easily pull off 25. But still, it's incredibly exhausting what YouTube is doing to us. That's why I really hope that the uploaded videos that we do, like the topic videos, will help. But the problem is the topic videos don't pay anything. Some people are like, wow, you got like 10,000 views on your last topic video. It's like, yeah, I made like 15 bucks. Woo. I did. Live streams pay more than uploads do. Are you kidding me? If I got 10,000 views on a live stream, I'd be real happy. Be like, bank. But we only get about 1,000 views a live stream, and that's after almost 3 hours of work. 3 hours of streaming. That's a lot, you know? That's an incredible amount. Oh, okay. So anyway, I'm going to send invites. If not, I'm just going to go in and, like, fight people online so we get the showcase rolling. And then I got the Zelda stream, and the next 4 or 5 hours of my life tonight will be dedicated to making that Multiversus character video, which will take about 5 to 6 hours, something like that. If I get to work on it at, like, 2:30, 3 in the morning, I'll be done by, like, 7 or 8 o'clock. But thank you guys for watching the short. You're doing great. The Band-Aid is holding, mostly. It's exhausting. Okay. 210. More Raven. Okay. So Zelda will be probably around 1:30. Yeah, Band-Aid's doing its job. Good job, Linky. You earn some kibble or whatever it is that you eat. What do you eat again? You eat cat food? Very good. Yeah, so the cats are being weird tonight. They're in different parts of the house. Link is hanging out right where he was, and Zelda's just doing whatever Zelda does. I don't know. She's just being weird. Just sending invites. Whoever wants to play can play. I don't care. Hey, Anthony. Did I get you in yet, Anthony? Alright, Anthony's in. Cool beans, cool beans. Oh. I'm sorry about all the massive spam. Anthony. Okay. Alright, let's go. Amber's so exhausted that she fell asleep. So I'm going to need to make sure that she is all situated before the Zelda stream. Hey Game Kid, how do the YouTube shorts work? From what I was told by a former YouTube person, like when they started rolling out shorts, it's still its own separate algorithm, and it's kind of like the way that YouTube videos worked in 2005, 2006. So, in order to amass a lot of views, all you have to do is click the link. Like, technically, there's not 150 people that watched the short already. That's you guys clicking the link every time. So they have no way of counting it appropriately for years yet, because, like, they're still using the old engine. Eventually, from what a former Google person told me, is by 2027 they're going to try to implement a thing where YouTube Shorts will be counted in the YouTube algorithm, because right now it's a separate commodity. So they, you know, there are people from TikTok that are basically like inflating their numbers that are over here. And they're getting bots to click the link, and they're getting millions of views on their shorts. So, like, there's really no way of stopping it. So, Like, all you have to do is click the link, and for, like, the next 2 hours it will work. After 2 hours, like, clicking it repeatedly won't work. It only works for about 2 hours. Because, like, right now, it says only 25 people were notified of the short, and yet it has, like, 200 views or something like that. So, it's counting, like, clicks. The link, every time the link is clicked, it counts as a view. Now, that's very different than YouTube videos, though. YouTube videos, you can only watch one a day. And it's based on your IP address. So, if you had like a VPN or something, you could probably have multiple views on one video, but it's tied to your IP address. Shorts are not tied to your IP address. But again, it only works for 2 hours, so it's like a loophole that, you know, a few people know about. The problem is I don't have 1 million subscribers to click a link, you know, and get like 1 million views on a short, which would be great because I'd get like $300, but I don't have that. Shorts don't pay unless you get 1 million views. That's the honest to God truth. You have to get 1 million views like within like 2 hours or something. So a lot of TikTokers are able to pull that off. Which is why, if you're wondering why YouTube Shorts is here in the first place, it's because of TikTokers who came to YouTube a couple years ago. That's why we have the whole Shorts. YouTube pays more for Shorts than they do over on TikTok for TikToks. It's true. That's why Shorts exist. Ah, phooey.
You lost. Sorry.
Is the PlayStation Network down? No, PlayStation Network is up.
Second
I wouldn't
place,
be able to play
Kwingsletsplays.
Multiversus. You have to have online in order to activate it. I'm playing online with Anthony. See? But I wouldn't be able to play online if it didn't work. Excuse me. It's working. Oh no. I never bought anyway, though, because you don't make money. You know that YouTube takes away half your income if they think you're botting? Like, we do everything legit because we want to make an income. Like, people even ask, like, how do you make an income on YouTube? It's like, we have 16,000 videos. We don't use any bots. We don't inflate our numbers. And whatever we earn is what we keep. If we botted and we made our numbers bigger, the only way we would make money is if we had something known as in-video ads, which is basically like a commercial, like G Fuel or Raid Shadow Legends or Disney theme parks or something, you know. You would be paid by the corporation because they see you as having a lot of people watching your video, even though you don't have a lot of people watching your video. So if you go our route, which is incredibly stressful, you get paid based on the real views that you do, which is, you know, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, whatever. And the more videos you have, the more revenue you make, in theory. But they kind of threw a monkey wrench to that plan 2 years ago, where Amber was like, maybe we should bot. It's like, I sat her down 2 years ago and I said, honey, if we botted, this is how much money we make. And I said, now minus 30% of that. That's what you would make. And she's like, it's not worth it. I said, yeah, it's not. It's like, people make fun of us, call us dead channel, but it's like, as long as we, you know, stay the course of what we do, we're still able to earn a living. Is it hard? Yeah, it is. It's a lot of work. And 2024 and 2025 is going to be very grueling. It is. But just physically, I can only, if it stays the way it was in 2024 and 2025, like, we're projected in 2025 to do over 3,000 videos. And we're losing money. So last year, we did 2,800 videos, and we were losing a little bit of money. We're projected to lose a lot this year, because there's just not enough games. And we're actually pumping out more content. Like, already now, I looked at January and February numbers. We've made more live streams this year than we did in January and February when we were covering Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So we've somehow made more content and earned less income than when we did Final Fantasy and the other stuff in January and February. We made like 10% less, or some 10 to 15% less than last year at this time.
Guess it's time to fight.
What did they do with the Power Rangers show? They they cater to the SJWs. They made SJW Rangers, basically. So like, and then they attracted the toxicity of that fan base of those people, and they basically attacked like family-friendly people that said they weren't going to watch that. They tried to get people fired by going to their Facebook and saying, you know, this person's a bigot and all this other stuff. So I mean, basically what that message sent to people who watched and supported Power Rangers for years as a family brand, they stopped watching. And so, you know, eventually Power Rangers self-imploded because it didn't have the ratings anymore. The new audience that they brought in that was all for all that stuff, they weren't able to support it. So basically, it's like, how do you support something when there's a massive hole in your vacuum? Like, where are you going to find the fans to replace the gaping hole in your fandom? You can't. That's why it's incredibly tricky nowadays, is you have to choose. Are you going to please the majority of your fan base and make money? Or are you going to cater to the 1% that's crazy and eventually go out of business? Because those people cannot support you. There aren't enough of them. And most importantly is, they don't buy products. So all these people that they were trying to appease and, you know, bring into the fandom, they didn't buy t-shirts, they didn't buy the video games, they didn't buy the comic books, they didn't buy the figurines, they didn't buy the collectibles, they didn't buy the helmets. You know, families were the ones that were basically buying all the weird Power Ranger products for the past 30 years. And they basically told families, we don't want you. We don't like the nuclear family, you know? And that was it. And when, like I said, in this business, you have to choose. Either you're going to cater to the 1% who aren't going to, you know, buy your merch, or you're going to cater to another group that's been there since the beginning. You know, and the thing is, that group is going to continue to expand and have their kids are going to grow up, have family, watch Power Rangers, and it's going to be an ongoing cycle. Most of these people, you know, they can't have families. So there is no generational. It stops with them. So when they die, that's it. The reason why Power Rangers succeeded for so long is because people like me grew up, got married, had kids, and then when they became grandparents, because there are some people my age that are grandparents, then their grandkids watched Power Rangers, and the cycle continued because, you know, more fans kept coming in because more fans were born. And people were passing on their hobby from one generation to the next. You know, SJWs don't have families. They don't believe in it. They think that, you know, it doesn't matter. So they, when something happens and they lose interest and they're not supporting as much, that's it. You know, you have to have new fans. The reason why Power Rangers got so successful to begin with over the past 20 years is it was on Netflix. And that's how a lot of these Power Ranger actors found out that Power Rangers was still popular when they were at conventions. They had no idea that the past shows, Saban had, as soon as Netflix became a streaming service, I think it was like 2010 is when they became a streaming service, because Netflix before was DVDs that you would purchase in the mail, right? It was like it was like basically like Blockbuster sending you DVDs and videos in the mail. That's basically what Netflix was. And then they became a streaming service. And as soon as they became a streaming service, Saban made a deal with Netflix, and all the past Power Rangers seasons up till the newest season was on Netflix for over a decade. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but it's true. So you had Mighty Morphin all the way through what the latest season of Power Rangers was. I think it was like Power Rangers Samurai or Megaforce or whatever, up until the Nickelodeon years on Netflix. And then he had the deal with Nickelodeon to have like 2 shows on at a time. So once Megaforce was around, they still had Samurai, or Super Samurai was still in rotation, and Samurai would then be on Netflix. They had an agreement. So you had all these eyeballs watching Power Rangers, you know, through both cable and streaming. And then when Hasbro got involved, the deal with Netflix ended, and they only kept 3 shows. They kept Mighty Morphin, and they kept Dino Charge, I think. Yeah, Dino Charge, and what was the name of that one? Ninja Steel. And then eventually they aired the new show, Dino Fury, And then Cosmic Fury. But when Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury were there, they got rid of Samurai. And they got rid of Megaforce. And then you just had whatever the last seasons were, Beast Morphers or whatever. I don't remember. But Saban was really smart. People, get on Saban's case, but he knew what he was doing. Like, he wanted to have Power Rangers in front of every eyeball that he could. Every generation. Because one of those people is going to grow up to become a fan and have their favorite Ranger, and, the cycle continues. There is no cycles with woke people and SJWs. They don't care about hobbies the way that we do. They don't consume it that way. They come in, they change it, and then they leave. The people still stick around. They're the fandom, but the fandom is divided now. And now there is no fandom. You have people that the fandom that exists now are the people that go to conventions. And they're seeing their favorite older Rangers, and they're getting autographs and doing stuff. They're not, most of them have boycotted Hasbro. They're not buying the new Power Rangers stuff. They might buy the Playmates Power Rangers figures, but the Lightning collection they were supporting, but Hasbro ended it. Even though it was successful, that's the thing. The Lightning collection was actually doing pretty well. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I understand that they were taking Power Rangers off the air for a while, but then they sold all the suits. They stopped the toy line. They did a toy line from the people that make the Ninja Turtles figures. And everything just self-imploded. If you would have told me 10 years ago, when Saban bought the brand again and made Samurai, that after it celebrated its 30th anniversary, Power Rangers would cease to exist, I would have looked at you like a crazy person, because I literally witnessed all the crazy things that both Saban and Disney did to keep Power Rangers alive. And Hasbro had the franchise since 2019, and by 2024 they killed it. Do you know how insane that is? Like, that's spectacularly bad business. That's insane. 2019 until the not even the end of 2024, the fall of 2024. Everything was gone. The auction for Power Rangers happened November, right around Thanksgiving. It was all gone. The final season aired in the summer, didn't it? Like, Cosmic Fury was in the summer of 2024, I thought. Or was it 2023? I don't remember. You have to be really bad at business to take a brand that existed before you successfully for 25 years or whatever, and they ran it into the ground. That's insane. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you have to realize that that's absolute insanity. Because we witnessed some really weird stuff with Power Rangers shows and things like that, Like, there was some weird things. Like, Power Rangers got baked into a giant pizza, and the show survived. Turbo had some of the lowest ratings ever. And then it just, like, that was it. They survived Disney, they survived the Saban years, the Neo Saban, and then when Hasbro got them, that was it. And I told somebody years ago, I said, well, the reason why Hasbro did that is because they saw Power Rangers as competition. Power Rangers was a very important boy brand. It was a very big boy brand market that was always around. It was kind of like a thorn in Hasbro's side. When Hasbro would release a new Transformers or G.I. Joe toy line, there was Power Rangers right there, taking up some of the market. So how do you get rid of Power Rangers? You buy them and then you get rid of them. Now you don't have any interference with your new toys for Transformers, G.I. Joe, whatever. I think it was done on purpose. The best way to snuff out your competition is to buy them out and then shelf the brand. And that's exactly what happened. And for years, like, Power Rangers news media people, like people who do like Power Rangers like news, and they've been doing it until they had to shut their websites down because they can't do Power Rangers anymore. But they were telling me that I was crazy in assuming that a corporation would buy out a brand and then basically sit on it and shelf it. They said that would never happen. They said, you just don't like Hasbro. It's like, no, I've know Hasbro. I've worked with them on Transformers and G.I. Joe stuff in the past. Hasbro is not a company that likes to take risks, though. Like, they'll take one of their existing brands like Transformers or G.I. Joe, and when it doesn't do well, you won't see it again for 10 years. Like, when's the last time we had a Transformers cartoon? It's already been 5 years. You know? Where the thing is, Power Rangers... The reason Power Rangers survived is it was a consistent yearly brand. That's why it stayed in the consciousness of, like, the American public, is because there was always a new Power Rangers show every year, like clockwork. Except for 2010. 2010, while they were working on a new season, they had reruns of Mighty Morphin to celebrate, like, I don't know, like 20 years or something like that. It was a gimmick, but they didn't have a new show ready. And then 2011 was the debut of Power Rangers Samurai. So they only did like 26 episodes of Mighty Morphin or whatever, up to the Green Ranger saga. But Hasbro, they had a plan and they executed it, basically. They snuffed the brand. And they did. Because it doesn't exist anymore. Digital Clips was talking, people are like, hey, are you going to make another Power Rangers game? And they're like, well, there's no plans to. So, I mean, even the people that made the recent Power Rangers game, they don't know the future of the Power Rangers video game thing either. They would probably like to make a sequel. It was somewhat successful for them, but they don't have permission. That game was in development before they closed down, like, the brand. The brand is basically dead. It only exists in comic books now.
10 seconds.
And the comic books are failing. After the comic books are gone, you just have the Playmates toy line. Then what? Nothing. See, DC Comics and Looney Tunes can take the hit of Multiversus disappearing because they still have shows and video games and movies and cartoons and comic books. They're still relevant. They've got merchandise all over the place. They don't need Multiversus. Warner Brothers really doesn't. Multiversus was supposed to be like an advertisement to gamers because, you know, WB failed spectacularly with video games for over 10 years. And they continue to fail. Wonder Woman's in trouble. We don't have a time frame of when the next Batman game is even going to be. Could be 5 years. Could be 4 years. It might not even be... If I'm being honest with you guys, I don't think the next Batman game is going to come out until 2027. Do you want to know why I say 2027? Because that's when the Batman 2 is coming out. Because Warner Brothers are idiots, and they follow patterns. They'll release the new game right around the same time frame of the new Batman movie to try to cash in on, like, people excited about Batman hype. They will not release it beforehand. Because they're scared of what will happen. If they're smart, they'll release the game before the movie comes out. Like, I would release the new Batman game, let's say the Batman 2 is scheduled for October 2027, right? If I was WB's marketing department, I would release the Batman game in the summer of 2027. I would not release it in the fall. I would release it in the summer. That way the game gets some legs, and whether or not the movie is successful or not, at least I have the opportunity to make money on that game. Right? But what they're probably going to do is, because they're stupid, is they'll release the movie, and if the movie doesn't do well, they'll delay the game a year. You watch. This is what WB does. WB has canceled a Superman game, a Flash game, a Justice League game, a Justice League fighting game, a Green Lantern game, several Batman games, all in the time frame of 10 years. So we could have had a new, like, Justice League fighting game. We could have had a Justice League game. We could have had another Arkham game. We could have had a brand new Batman game that wasn't set in the Arkham universe, set in the Batman Beyond, like, world. We could have had a Teen Titans and a Young Justice game. There's lots of things that could have happened for DC fans over the last 12 years that didn't, because WB was not thrilled with how, like, their animation and their films were going, so they took it out on the video games. They didn't want to take the gamble for the video games too, so they did nothing. They would rather make no money than possibly, like, lose money. That's the kind of people they are, and that's why they're very terrifying in the video game industry. Because in the video game industry, you have to constantly be pumping out content every, like, there should be no longer than a 2 or 3 year gap between your company's next game in the game industry. If you do anything longer than that, you are going to suffer immensely. Because not only you have to worry about your competition that is going to release a game on time, but at the same time, your fandom might end up going to another superhero game. And that's exactly what happened with Batman. After 2015, and there was no information about any new Arkham game or anything, other than rumors and speculation, when Spider-Man started to ramp up in 2018, more than half of the Arkham fandom and Arkham creators jumped ship to Insomniac. They did, because I did it too. I covered the Spider-Man game immensely. All the DLC, everything. It was a blast. I enjoyed it. I liked it. Was it an Arkham killer? No. If there was actually an Arkham game that came out around the same time, that Arkham game would have done well regardless. If it was like even a Arkham Origins sequel. The only reason the Spider-Man game did as amazing as it did is because it had no competition. Marvel basically spooked DC into releasing nothing. Do you understand? The reason why Marvel dominates video games right now is because DC is not competition for them. Marvel is basically competing with Japanese games because they don't have any competition anymore. They have nobody to challenge them. Because WB is basically like a scared nerd in high school that's too afraid to do anything. They don't understand that in the video game business, risk is a part of the business. You have to gamble sometimes. You have to shoot your shot.
Time to fight.
WB is expecting every game they release to do amazing. They weren't expecting Suicide Squad to fail hilariously bad, but they cater to the 1%. They made fun of the Arkham fandom, and they screwed around and found out. And they still think they did the right thing. They still think making fun of the Arkham community and, like, you know, ruining the Arkham timeline and all this other stuff was what they were supposed to do. You know? They're not sorry about it. They don't care. Even the people at Rocksteady, they blame the fans for the game failing because we didn't play it. Like, they don't blame their own inadequacies. It's nothing they did wrong. They just made a creative game that wasn't successful. It's like, they made a very vindictive game. They made their bed and they lied in it, but they can't even admit to themselves that they're the ones that almost bankrupted their own company. That's the kind of people that new Rocksteady is. Old Rocksteady would have been like, hey, okay, we heard what the community wants. Immediately, we're working on another Batman game. Like, you know, we have a fraction of our team that's still working on updates for the Suicide Squad. The team is hard at work on a brand new Batman game. We heard of the community and we're on it. That's all they would have had to do like 2 years ago. When the reception of the game, because Suicide Squad was dead on arrival. Like, no one was really interested in the game at all. How they could have saved face right away, because they knew the game was going to bomb. They knew it was going to bomb. They should have made an announcement that they were going back to what their roots were. But unfortunately, as I've said before, most of the people at Rocksteady right now are known as new blood. They're not people that have been around since before Arkham Knight. They're the Arkham Knight crew that came in and they were the new hires on Arkham Knight. So they have one success under their belt, which is Arkham Knight, but they weren't like the big people responsible for making that game great. They were like, they had smaller roles, and then when that game became successful and other like big team members left, they took their positions. Does that mean they're talented? No. It just means they were at the company to get promoted. Do you understand? So if they were super smart, what they would have done as early as 2023, like mid-2023, they should have said, hey, we know that this is not something you guys are interested in. We're actually working on a single-player Batman game. That's all they would have needed to do. They could have taken the L from Suicide Squad, right? They could have taken the hit. And just the reception of the game would still be bad, but the future wouldn't look as bleak. Do you know what I mean? The problem is most of these people, they don't understand how the game industry works. They think that they can put out whatever slop they want, and it's your fault for not eating it. You, the consumer, are the problem. Which is, again, that's the wrong mentality to have, because it's never the consumer's fault. It's always the corporation. It's always the developer. The reason why your game didn't succeed is because there were elements in the game that people didn't want to support. It's that simple. But they can't see the forest before the trees. They can't. all the good developers already left, you know? They're gone. Long gone. Up, somebody from Twitch.
Guess it's time to fight.
But yeah, Timmy, because they delayed the thing, I wouldn't expect a new Batman game until 2027. At the very least. I would be amazed if it came out in 2026.
Hope you're not afraid of the dark. Behind me.
That person's probably streaming, just like I am.
Here come the shadows.
Shoot.
That was excruciating. To me. Get down.
You did it, Red.
Wow, I interrupted my move.
You thought you had me. For justice. I'm afraid that's not the will of the gods. Oof. Meet my fist. Metrio.
Sorry. Oh, wow, that lasted a lot longer than I thought it was going to. Ah!
You lost. Sorry.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, WB didn't have to... They don't have to acknowledge why the game failed. Like, we know why the game failed. They don't have to. Gasser, you want to play? Because Charles played before. You want to play, Fred? You on? Thank you, Charles. Like, all they had to do was just say, you know, we understand that Suicide Squad is not something that the community wanted, but we just want you guys to know that our next game is already in development and it's a Batman game. And immediately, if they did that, like 6 months before, you know, Suicide Squad, or even release day of Suicide Squad, if they would have announced that, then they wouldn't have taken as big of an L. Because people would be like, you know what, Suicide Squad sucks, but we know that Rocksteady is heavily invested on the next big Batman game. And that would have erased a lot of people's, like, you know, stuff. Also, it would have forced them to keep a lot of their employees in check that were rampant on social media, defending Sweet Baby and all this other stuff. All that stuff never would have happened because Rocksteady would be more concerned about their next project, which would be that Batman game, because they don't want... You don't want to tick off your core audience, right? But because they didn't announce that until after the Suicide Squad, that's why the Suicide Squad... that's why, you know, a lot of people aren't really talking in great regard to the new Batman game that WB's doing, or Rocksteady, because they don't care. Like, there's so much brand damage of Rocksteady that if you go and you look on Twitter, most of the people, it's almost like 50-50 now. I actually made a video about this for my own one channel that's going to go up this week. But if you look at the reception of the actual Arkham fans, it's now divided, split right down the center. And people on Twitter are arguing with each other over, like, you know, caring or not caring about Rocksteady's new Batman game. Whereas before, when Rocksteady, you know, had their game leaked by Kevin Conroy, everybody was excited for Rocksteady's new single-player Batman game. You know, Arkham Knight turned out to be a game that not everybody in the community loved, but people were still hyped about it. We were all united on that aspect. Right now, there's no unification in the Arkham fandom. It's divided. And that's Rocksteady's fault. Yeah, that's true, Meyer.
10
I mean,
seconds.
there are some people, like, I was curious to see who was excited about the new Arkham, or the new Batman game that Rocksteady's working. You even have some core, like, Arkham fandom people that have YouTube channels that aren't excited about it because they're worried it's going to be another Suicide Squad. They see what new Rocksteady is capable of in terms of narrative, and everybody's trying to scramble and figure out who the writer is. Because people found the writer of Wonder Woman, and, well, the Wonder Woman writer checks off all the crazy boxes, so most likely the Wonder Woman game is going to suck. If they don't fire the writer now and, you know, do some much-needed weeding of the Wonder Woman game, they're in big trouble.
I've been looking forward to
Because the story would basically be as bad as the Suicide Squad, if not worse. Because their writer for the Wonder Woman game is a loon. They're insane. And the problem is, it'd be one thing if you just act a certain way on Twitter. The problem is, most of these creative people, right? They can't help but interject every belief and everything that they talk about on a day-to-day basis in their game. Their game characters have to be a reflection of themselves. Whereas, you know, just so you know, Camouflage actually does have some, like, of those weirdos that work for them. The difference is the writer made sure to just focus on the Arkham world and build up on that. So the writer, the reason why I say the person was a good writer is because they didn't use their real-world experience and all this other stuff. They went out to make a good game based on where it would take place in the narrative for the Arkham universe at that time. Wait, how did he do that? Is that dude using mods of some kind? I mean, it's not like you can do anything about it anymore. It's a dead game.
You're in for it now. Take it. All you. We're in business. Got it.
Oops. I messed up. I messed up bad.
Pop the glass. Going down.
Ow. Sorry, Gasser.
I'm through getting pushed around. All you. Got it.
Hit him with a rock.
Darkness, don't fail me now.
Nice, nice. Nice, Gasser. Good finisher, man. Yes! Good teamwork. And we match. Oh, man. Woo! That was a little touch and go there.
Very sweet. I'm thrilled.
Nope. Oh, man. Good one, good one, good one. Ooh. Very nice. But, I mean, like I was saying, there are some unique individuals that work at Camouflage, but the problem is, or the good thing is, they didn't make it based on their personal beliefs and whatever. They actually went out of their way to make a continuation from Arkham Origins and to continue, you know, the narrative and the setting of that game and transfer it over to the next one. Like, personally, I don't care about what your beliefs is, who you go to bed with, whatever. As long as you make a good game and you focus on the characters of that game and not yourself, then you can be whatever you want and work in the game industry, no problem. But if you're going to act like a crazy person like you do on Twitter, and you interject a lot of your personal beliefs and all this other stuff and agenda into the game, not only do you deserve to get fired, but then the industry needs to be gate kept. Like, we need to make sure that the lock on the gate is strong so that we just hire people based on not just the merit system, but also talent, integrity, and the fact that they're very good at what they do. And then those people continue to churn out good games. So, unfortunately, the Wonder Woman writer is someone to be very concerned about. Like, no lie. And the game, if the game keeps going the way it is right now, it's going to be a flop. Because it's going to be incredibly divisive. It'll basically be like Wonder Woman 1984, the game, except, like, worse. It'd be like Wonder Woman 84 meets the Suicide Squad narrative. With really cool gameplay. And that is not going to be enough for people to play the game. Because nobody likes to be preached at. I would have, yeah, I'd have Camouflage oversee the new Arkham game too. Exactly. I mean, they're the new kids on the block that, you know, hit it out of the park. I would do that.
Hello.
I would make a coalition between, Camouflage, Old Rocksteady, and the people who worked on Arkham Asylum, Square, like the Eidos people, and put together a dream team of all those, you know, big Batman creative teams that worked on Asylum, City, Night, and Origins, and get them into and Arkham Shadow, and put them into one room and have a team of like 100 people. And I guarantee you, if that dream team existed, they would make a great Batman game.
Guess it's time to fight.
Even with the writer of Arkham Shadow, I think they could make an amazing console game. Because the problem with Arkham Shadow is it was a very short experience because it's VR. Like, if that guy had more room to write, I mean, he could have done a console game. I guarantee it. It's a short experience because VR it's not a long thing, you know? It's not meant to be because VR gaming is different than console gaming. Console gaming is like 15, 20 hours story max, you know? VR is like a 8 to 7 hour experience usually. That's broken up. Oh, this is a ranked Samurai Jack player. Dang, Gasser. Dude, when the next Smash Brother comes out, we need to team up, bro. When Switch 2 has a new Smash Brothers game, we gotta go online. Duos. Holy cow, man, it's like you know what I'm thinking. But these guys are ranked, so we gotta be careful.
You brought this on yourself.
Boom!
Hey, you won.
In my back pocket that should do the trick.
Boom, baby!
Yep. I knew it.
Da, 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 da. No, I wouldn't want the people that did Gotham Knights to make anything. No. The people involved with Gotham Knights are working on the Wonder Woman game. That should be a red flag right there. That should be a tremendous red flag. The people behind Gotham Knights are helping the Wonder Woman game. Yikes. Oh, how well is the short doing right now? I don't know. I'll check. You're at 500 views for the short after 54 minutes. So you guys put a decent amount of views into the channel. You have to remember, though, like I said, the short only works for about 2 hours, and then it's dead. And then YouTube will basically, like, add a little bit of views as the day goes on with the short until, like, the 12 hours are up, and then that short's over. You don't get a full 24 hours as a YouTuber anymore with your videos. You get 12. After 12 hours, that's it. So your video better get as many views as possible, because after 12 hours, you know, that's usually how it is. For us, it's less than that. Like, if a video does badly after 6 hours, it's never going to grow. So that's why it takes so long for, like, live streams. If we can't get the views up a certain amount, that series is over because, you know, it just takes days and days and days to get another episode. Wuthering Waves took almost 6 days, almost a full week, to just get 250 views. I think the episode ended at, like, 735 or whatever when we live streamed it. And it took almost 6 days to hit 1,000 views, just to get 200 more views. The Dynasty Warriors episode ended at 812 views, right? It took 3 days to get 1,000. So, I mean, it's insane. It's a long process now that used to be so simple. It used to be so simple to get 1,000 views. All right, last one, Gasser. Let's make it a good one. The game randomly gave you 50,000 prestige points? Lucky. I want my game to glitch out. How did you do it?
Guess it's time to fight.
This music takes you back to 2022. Yeah.
All aboard the knuckle train to Fifth Planet.
When I am finished, they shall rename this game Multiversus.
Yeah.
Cannot see, but I, Mojo Jojo, am very upset right now.
Oof. Oh, yeah,
I'll
okay.
give you this. Stung a little. Fish are listening.
Nah, I wasn't watching Aquaman. Boom! Ah!
Won't depose me, that is later.
Hey, we won.
I've got
Oh my gosh, I think we went 3 for 3. Did we go 3 for 3, Gasser?
Can I go finish?
What a
my-
way to end, man. I think we did. Let me see, let me see, let me see. Sweep? Sweep! Haha! Sick! Alright, so if you guys still want to hang out with me, I'm doing, whatchamacallit? I'm doing Zelda next. Tears of the... what am I doing? Breath of the Wild for Richard. Nice sweep, yeah! Alright, so tomorrow's going to be the Aquaman showcase. This stream got 1,000 views, so we're going to do Aquaman. It's going to be fun. And, yeah, I have to make a cool thumbnail for Aquaman, though. Just, I'm not very good as Aquaman, though. I'm actually pretty decent at Raven. So I like playing as Raven. I don't have that much prestige points, I don't think. Lucky. Yeah, I don't... My next costume that I'll be able to get will be, like, Lola Bunny. Oh, I did get the Rick one. Or the Morty one. Did get the Morty. I don't know, maybe it'd be possible to still get some of these. I don't know. The Lola one. Queen of the Core Lola. I'm getting there. Just seems like it was such a stupid thing to get rid of the Gleamium, though. That was stupid. That really was. I already did this. I don't even know what the point of this is. What's inside these chests? Don't know. Don't care. Cool. So that's the Raven Showcase. Thanks, guys, so much for watching. You'll be redirected to Breath of the Wild.
No, you're not interrupting.
Your goal is to get all the prestige skins? Wow, you got 50k for no reason. You're lucky, dude. That's pretty lucky. The YouTube short got 530 views. Great job, everybody. You did a fantastic job. 1 hour and 11 minutes. Or 1 hour and 1 minute. You guys got 500 something views. Like I said, it's really easy to get views on shorts within the first 2 hours. All you guys got to do is just keep clicking that link. Every time you click the link, it counts as a new view. For 2 hours. After that, it doesn't work. So don't try it. You can still get a view an hour by clicking the link, but the first hour or two, you can amass a ton of views on shorts. But again, shorts don't pay us. Shorts are a band-aid that keeps the channel stable so that we make money collectively from all our videos on the channel. As long as we earn 1,000 views on the channel hourly, it helps the channel with search, it helps the channel with subscribers being notified. Basically tells YouTube that the channel is alive. When the channel drops below 1,000 views, it tells YouTube not to recommend our channel even to subscribers that are, you know, have their notifications on and they're in other parts of the world where it's daytime. So when it drops, like after 2 in the morning here, dangerously below 1,000, that's like anywhere between like 400 or 500. You guys can easily keep the views up by watching our shorts playlist, have it running in the background when you go to sleep and stuff like that. That would really help out a lot. Because it basically keeps our channel alive so Amber and I can sleep longer. Because basically we sleep in shifts. Amber works from 6 in the morning until like usually around like 9 at night, and then I do 3 in the afternoon until about like 8 in the morning, almost, trying to keep our channel stable. It's a lot of work. A lot of advertising, a lot of Facebook, a lot of Twitter, a lot of Instagram, a lot of adjusting ad placement on the channel, community posts, forum sites, discords. It's a lot. Anyway, I'll see you guys on Zelda. You'll be redirected, okay? Thank you everybody for playing. Hopefully you guys had fun. And Aquaman Showcase will be tomorrow.